Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. This is the 5th episode of Solo Leveling Season 2, where we will see some incredible moments, like the epic reveal of Jinwoo's father's identity and Jinwoo's shadow army trying to kill him. So without wasting any time, let's start our video. In this episode, Jinwoo realizes he needs to clear 9C level dungeons just to level up once. Although he's as powerful as an S rank hunter, Jinwoo feels it is not enough and wants to gain more power. He receives an entry permit to access the second floor through a magic circle. As Jinwoo knows the castle is full of demons, he summons Ice Bear from his shadow army to help him. But if you don't know how Jinwoo defeated this Ice Bear in a previous episode, then check the links from video description. Now, Jinwoo climbs on the Ice Bear's back and orders to move forward. On their way to the magic circle, they encounter demons blocking their path. Jinwoo orders the Ice Bear to defeat them all and keep moving towards the magic circle to enter the second floor. Impressed by the Ice Bear's strength, Jinwoo names it Tank. Meanwhile, outside the demon castle, in Washington at the Bureau of Hunters, some officers are looking at the demon hunter they found inside a dungeon in the previous episode, as we explained. After interrogating this mystery hunter, they learn that his name is Sung Lee Hwan, and he is from Korea. One officer explains that Lee Hwan was trapped in a dungeon 10 years ago when the dungeon gate closed in Korea. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in the United States. According to these officers, Lee Hwan is a monster in human form, putting all of Washington in danger because there are no S-rank hunters available. After searching around, they find an S-rank hunter named Dong-soo in Washington, who is also fluent in Korean. Meanwhile, Hwang is still thinking about killing Jinwoo because his last attempt failed, as Jinwoo was stuck inside the Red Gate dungeon, as shown in the previous episode. Back to the demon castle, each floor is separate and contains a demon with an entry permit, which allows Jinwoo to move to the next floor. Jinwoo starts climbing each floor by defeating the demons and collecting their entry permits. So far, Jinwoo has captured 2,116 demon souls out of the 10,000 he needs. Jinwoo worries that if the castle has 100 floors, it might be impossible for him to reach the top within a week. Despite this, he keeps fighting and advancing. Now, he has reached the 50th floor and has captured 2,561 demon souls. On the 50th floor, Vulcan, the ruler of the lower floors, is present with a large number of guards. Seeing Vulcan, Jinwoo realizes he needs to be careful because Vulcan is a boss-level demon. Vulcan orders his guards to attack Jinwoo, seeing him as an intruder. Jinwoo summons his shadow army to assist and protect him from the demons. While the shadow army and Vulcan's guards are fighting, Jinwoo uses a special skill to become invisible. He thinks that even though these demons are high level, his shadow army can handle them because he has been leveling them up from the start. Jinwoo notices that Vulcan, the leader, isn't moving. Suddenly, Vulcan disappears and quickly attacks the shadow army, defeating them with little effort. This makes Jinwoo furious, so he comes out of hiding and delivers a powerful punch to Vulcan, but Vulcan vanishes again. Actually, Vulcan didn't vanish. He flew away at high speed, surprising Jinwoo with his movements. Vulcan is using a special skill called Wrath, which increases his stats by 50%, helps him maintain his rage, and reduces the pain he feels. With his speed increased, Jinwoo realizes he can't avoid Vulcan's attacks, so he calls out Iron to guard him. Iron throws a shield to Jinwoo, enabling him to block Vulcan's attacks. Jinwoo is trying hard to find an opening for a counterattack. When he jumps into the air to strike Vulcan, he realizes that Vulcan is also waiting for this moment to attack him. Surprised and unable to move in midair, Jinwoo uses a skill called Dominator's Touch to push himself back without touching the rock, successfully avoiding Vulcan's attack. Jinwoo decides he needs to aim for Vulcan's head to defeat him, but he's not finding any opportunities. Suddenly, he notices a building collapsing nearby. He starts running towards it, with Vulcan chasing him at full speed. Jinwoo climbs the building, and Vulcan struggles to stop suddenly because of his large size. Seeing his chance, Jinwoo attacks Vulcan, successfully dealing him a brutal blow. The scene then switches to Sang-min talking to Park Hee-jin about Jinwoo. Hee-jin says that Jinwoo is on a trip with his friends. Sang-min is surprised and asks how she knows about Jinwoo. Hee-jin explains that she has been in contact with Song-yi, who is Jinwoo's sister's friend, and got all this information from her. Both Hee Jin and Sang Min are searching for someone in an apartment, but find nothing. Back to the fight, Jinwoo attacks Vulcan again, and finally defeats him. After defeating Vulcan, Jinwoo receives some useful and valuable items, including the Orb of Avarice, which can double magic damage. Iron starts acting differently, so Jinwoo asks him to stop and thanks him for lending his shield. Jinwoo begins to suspect that something might be off, perhaps Iron attacked him, which confuses Jinwoo. To test the Orb of Avarice, Jinwoo calls his magic unit and asks them to fire on a building. The attack impresses Jinwoo with its power. At the Bureau of Hunters, Dong-soo is interrogating Li Huan, asking how he survived in a dungeon for 10 years. After a few more questions, Li Huan reveals that the dungeon gates and monsters are not the real threat. The greatest disaster is yet to come. When Dong-soo asks about this greatest danger, Li Huan says he cannot reveal it. Dong-soo suggests that if they knew more about the greatest danger, they could gather all hunters to work together against it. But according to Li Huan, the number of hunters doesn't matter against the power he's referring to. If all hunters fight against it, they'll be easily defeated. When Dong-soo asks about his children, Li Huan says his daughter's name is Sung Jin-ah and his son's name is Jinwoo. Hearing the names, Dong-soo smiles and mutters bloodlust. But this worries Li Huan. He asks what Dong-soo means, but Dong-soo insists he's the one asking questions. This makes Li Huan angry, and he warns that if he did not get answers, then he'll use force. Dong-soo presses a button on the table to call the deputy director, and declares that Li Huan is a monster. He further states that Li Huan could attack at any time, so everyone should evacuate quickly. Dong-soo then lies to Li Huan, telling him that his son is dead. Back to Demon Castle, Jinwoo is fighting against an army of demons, with the demon leader standing back and giving orders. Jinwoo calls Iron and Igris to clear a path for him to reach the demon boss. Iron and Igris start defeating demons, which shocks the demon boss. Jinwoo taunts the boss, saying, "Are you amazed by my kid's powers?" Then he attacks the boss and swiftly defeats him. This episode ends here, leaving some questions. Will Jinwoo be able to save his dad or not? We'll find out in the next episode. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any updates. While you wait for the next episode, check out other anime videos on our channel.